How to ace Cambridge International O Levels Biology 5090. How to score A study grade. This is what we gonna understand in this video. It is not complicated for you to ace A study grade in your biology if you are in medical. But yeah, if you are in engineering or business, so yeah, you must focus on some biological method and theories. Okay, basically, what is the first thing you need to learn is that the second or the first chapter of your book of biology is of osmosis, diffusion, and active transport. Why are these very essential terminologies in biology? Not only helping you in this subject but also in other subjects such as chemistry. Moreover, it also helps in the other chapters such as the transport and flowering plant in which the diffusion osmosis and there is a reference of the active transport. Same here in the respiratory system of a human being there is a reference of diffusion and also in other subjects it is the same. It means that the osmosis, diffusion and active transport must be on your fingertips. The second thing is that cell, tissues and organs. There is one cell. A group of cells is called tissues. There is one tissue, and a group of tissue is called organ. And one organ. There is a group of organ is called organic system. In the first chapter of the cell structure, there is basically talking about the chloroplast and cytoplasm. Cytoplasm and chloroplast, such as the nucleus, is very essential for you in your plant nutrition, transporting in flowering plant, and also is very essential in your DNA genetic information, such as the inheritance and the microorganism and biotechnology. These are very essential for you, cell structure, specialized cell to be memorized. As we move further, we saw that there are the animal nutrition and the plant nutrition. Animal, which is known as now the human nutrition, is basically talking about the balanced diet, the structure of the carbohydrates, protein, and lipid, minerals, and what are their deficiency and what is their importance. You're required to learn these terminologies. Basically, in simple words, what I'm trying to say is that you are required to learn over all the books means while that whatever the syllabus you are having 5090 of biology or either if you are an IGCSE student, you are required to read your book of biology completely from this beginning till the end and also take the extra information within your chapter. It means that do not take the out of syllabus information but also take the information which might be helpful or may be helpful for you for solving the papers. Okay, first thing that you are required to do is that reading the book completely. Do not skip any line or any paragraph. It may be helpful for you. Okay, second thing is that what the most students make themselves complicated in the paper is that graph making. Graph making is not that much complicated, but yeah, I have saw many of candidates who are not trying their best in their graph. They must focus on the graph. How will they focus? By solving the past paper. In the past paper you can see that there are some graphs drawn for you as an answer. It might be helpful for you that how you are required to draw it. Also in the books there is the graph making and the graph are being shown to you, the directions are being shown to you that how you are required to draw the graph. Whatever been asked from you, such as these value of x-axis and these values of y-axis. Suppose if it is not written, so see that what values are constantly increasing or decreasing, that must be on the x-axis, remember it. And the other values which are not constant must be on y-axis. Okay, and now we are moving towards the solving the past papers. My third tip is for you guys is that you are required to solve the past papers. Before solving the past papers, you are sitting in the examination. There is less chances for you to score A static because you are not familiar with the questions or not familiar with the examiner. What I mean by familiar with the examiner is basically that if you will not read the past paper, there is some complications for you to solve the paper because if you read the past paper once, you'll know that which type of question may the examiner will give you. This is the tip which I did not give you only in your biology but in every subject, and it is the best tip ever to solve the past papers because in the past papers there are many types of questions may repeat in your paper, and this may create ease in your paper that you will be solving it very quickly and you'll be assured that this is the thing you have done very correctly and scoring the grade marks. In the paper 1 of biology 5090, or for the IGCSE paper 1 of biology, is the same as multiple choice question. This is the paper of the multiple choice question. There are 40 questions and there are 4 options where one option is obviously correct and the other 3 options are incorrect. Remember that whatever the question has been given to you, the 4 given options will be relevant to the chapter, will be relevant to the question, but will be not the answer. So you are required to again solve the past paper, and by solving the past paper you will understand that how can you solve the MCQs. There is one more tip for you to solve the MCQ, is that you are required to solve the textbook. Some questions at the last of the chapter has been given to you as the MCQs. This is also very essential, and also the past papers topically and yearly. I suggest you first to go for the topically past papers because they are very helpful for you, and after then go towards the yearly and try to solve maybe more than 10 years of yearly past papers. It may be very beneficial for you. Otherwise, no problem, you'll be scoring good marks. Okay, so there is a change basically in the paper 2 of the structured questions where the questions are being given to you. There was certain quantity of the questions given to you, such as there were 3 sections, section A, section B and section C. But now the Cambridge International has changed the syllabus and also has changed the pattern. It has not changed the pattern completely, but yeah, a bit, that there is no sections in the paper 2 and the paper 2 is compulsory. It means that overall questions given to you in paper 2 is compulsory for you, so there is no choice for you in paper 2 of biology, chemistry and physics. It means that you are required to do everything and attempt every question. It is not difficult for you, but yeah, a bit complicated, that there is not only one question asked from you from the one chapter only, but in the one question there are certain parts like A, and there are more parts of A like 1 and 2, and they have been also asking from you such that the definitions, such as a definition of diffusion, or if you know what is diffusion, you can give the answer of a question related to the diffusion. Okay, now what type of question must be there? For example, at the last of the question, at the end of the paper, there are some questions related to the chapter at the end of the chapter. What I mean basically is that in your textbook, there is the last chapter, inheritance, biotechnology, microorganisms, and the genetic information, whatever reproduction. Indeed, these chapters may become in your paper as a last and the second last and the third last questions, and the first, second, and third questions might appear as your first and second chapter. It is not always the same, but yeah, most times you can observe this in the past papers. The time given to you for paper 2 is 1 hour 45 minutes, and for paper 1 is only 1 hour. Okay, so there was a question that they'll be asking for you to draw anything. So no, there is nothing asked from you to draw. But yeah, they can give you any structure and ask you what is this structure, such as the red blood cell. You are required to determine it. They can ask the definitions and they can also give the conditions, such as the investigations of the experiment, that maybe they can give you the experiment of from the plant nutrition, from the animal nutrition, and you are required to determine the Benedict solutions color and whatever. This is all the you are required to learn as a burette solution, what is the color of the starch, what is the color test for the glucose and the protein. So this is what you are required, but basically it is not enough in your paper 2 because it is essential only for your paper 4. Your paper 3 is known as the practical. This is not the practical you are required to write, but it is to do. As you're seeing the person below, what is he is doing, as holding the paper and doing the experiment, like this you are required to do the paper 3. Meanwhile, it is a practical where a paper is given to you and a proper appropriate time is given to you, into which you are required to make the solutions, and whatever the examiner is asking from you, you are required to do it practically. And at the last, there is the paper 4, or sometimes had paper 6, as alternative to practical, in which there is no practically any experiment to do, but there is a paper given to you, and this paper is the written whatever you are required to write as alternative to practical. It means that whatever the practical been given to you, you are required to write it in on a paper, and there is a time given to you, it is of 1 hour, and there are some experiments being asked from you. It is not a detailing paper. Mostly there are maximum 2 to 3 or sometimes 4 questions,
there are less chances for four questions, maybe sometime two questions and sometime three questions with certain parts. And this is very easiest to score because there is nothing difficult asked from you. What is required here is basically the magnification formula. You are also required to learn the magnification formula, memorize it. It is very simple and easy. The image size and the drawing size. The drawing size is basically the size of the drawing which you are gonna be drawing here. You can solve the past paper and you can also see that there is a drawings of such as the red blood cell or the drawing of any specialized cell, or either it could be a leaf, and they be gonna asking you to draw again a drawing and you'll be drawing it again, and now it is required for you to measure the size of the drawing. And this is because only you are required to just magnify it. For the magnification formula you are required to put here, and you are required to just solve the answer what would be ever the examiner will measure by scanning it. And there's also the graph question. Obviously, if you have been understanding that the graph is easier for making if you are solving the past paper, yeah, then there are more marks for you to score easily. And this is the scoring paper basically. I mean that yeah, paper 2 is more scoring paper, but after paper 2 and paper 1, this is also the scoring paper because it is not that much difficult for you and you are required to just solve it very easily and you'll be scoring marks. I do not think so that the definitions been asking from you, but yeah, it is better to learn. Like sometimes it can be asked the shape of the nucleus, the shape of the red blood cell or the white blood cell or the platelets. And this is the very simple. If you'll be solving the past paper more of P4 or P6, sometimes called, you will be required to solve it and you'll be scoring very easily because it is not that much difficult. And if you will just learn it, if you will just do solve the past papers, I am pretty sure that you will score a steady grade in your biology.